Adam and Eve and the tree of knowledge of good and evil, part 4. So, to conclude on what we said before, Adam and Eve were seduced, ate a fruit of knowledge of good and evil, were exiled, were kicked out of the Garden of Eden, and they started living on earth. So they started having children. The first one was Cain, and the rest, other brothers and sisters came along. So the story is that they started a social life. Adam and Eve were two people living in the Garden of Eden, and they were happily living there. They were, I'm not sure if they had emotions there. They were just living there, and nothing was wrong. Everything was fine. And suddenly they face a life on earth that is full of troubles, full of problems, and there comes along the problems of forming a society. So the their children have to get married, they have to have children also. So basically, they are expanding their original family. And with the social life comes social work also. Like they have to work to live. In the Garden of Eden, everything was there, provided. Nothing was uh, needed to survive. Everything was there. But now you have to survive. You have to work for it. It comes along the social structure and the basic needs of human being, food, food. And there comes also the relationships. People getting married, and then they start work. Cain is a farmer. Abel is a shepherd. So they chose different types of work. And there comes the things that come along with the social life, which is whose work is better, who is more obedient to God, and who does what he is supposed to do better. So there comes the sacrifice. God wanted to give him sacrifices from Cain and Abel, and of course accepts the sacrifice of Abel. About the sacrifice, I think we have to discuss in other parts of this discussion, but regarding the sacrifice that God asked them to do and then accepted the sacrifice of Abel and not Cain. And there came the jealousy. So jealousy didn't exist in Garden of Eden. And there came along things that didn't exist before. Emotions, hatred, sadness, jealousy, things that started working, and some because of the social order. If there was only Cain, there was no jealousy. It's exactly like a family, sibling rivalry. If there's only one child in the family, there is no competition, there is no comparison, there is no preference of one child over another one. But When it comes to children becoming two or more, then there comes these types of relationships. And of course, it comes along with this a certain order and social network of the family. So emotions show up, and jealousy would lead to one brother killing another one. And then comes other things of the social network. When you form a society, there should be a punishment for the murderer. So what happens to Cain? He gets he's exiled from his community. He's expelled from his community, and he has to go somewhere else. There is an interesting point in this. His punishment is not to kill him. It's not to kill him. Blood for blood. The punishment is to kick him out of the society. Now Cain had to go to other places apart from his original society and form his own society. So the issues of justice, issues of justice started to show up because you had a society, and then there should be a punishment for somebody who doesn't follow the rules of the society. See, it's very similar to our societies. It's very similar to our families. The story repeats itself. The differences are different technologies, different environment, whatever, but still the basic is the same. It is human relationships. And upon these relationships comes certain things that are not desired by the law, and then comes the punishment. So the story of Cain and Abel shows many things to us. One is that they had to work to stay alive, to support their family. Two is that there was a social order. The social order and the ethics and justice system in that society somehow was defined for certain things. Or it was coming along as things happened. Like somebody murdered somebody, now you have to find the punishment, and the punishment is this: kicking the person out of the society. Don't you think it's a better idea than killing the killer? Just kick him out of the society. He's not allowed to come back to the society. Society gets rid of that person, and that person gets a chance to basically start a new life. And maybe he learns from his previous mistakes, and he becomes useful to the society that he forms. See similarities with our societies. Similarities. So And another point are emotions. See, so obviously in the Garden of Eden, there were no particular emotions. Everybody was living there, everybody meaning Adam and Eve, living there fine. So why should you have emotions? And then you come to earth, you are kicked out of the Garden of Eden, and suddenly you face with a lot of emotions. So emotions come with the knowledge of good and evil. Once you have higher awareness, then you enter some things that didn't exist before, like emotions. And are emotions good or bad? Obviously, they come with higher awareness. With higher awareness. Do animals have emotions? I'm not sure. Probably they do. But but are their emotions as complex as ours is? And then comes the point of how you can control emotions and how somebody didn't control his emotion and how that person decided to get rid of his brother because of the jealousy. So he knew God wouldn't like it, but he still did it. He went against God's will. He didn't accept the decision of God. See? And that there comes the power of decision making. So, to conclude on this part, we can we can put several points together on this part of the story. One is that a social network formed a society, and two, this social network started to have its own characters, and there developed some punishment, some justice system, and then the work that everybody had to do, and different types of works that these brothers did. Being a shepherd is a totally different type of work than being a farmer. So, to conclude the whole thing is that life on this earth, with the basics of it, when you look at the basics of it, hasn't changed. In our societies also, we work. We have to work, we have to earn money to be able to live. And then we form families, we have friends, then we have our own emotions, jealousies, and even we have murders happening in our societies. And then we have our own rules and regulations and justice system. And the whole thing is that we continue these relationships similar to the same pattern of what the family of Adam and Eve did. Similar pattern. It was simpler at those days. It's a little bit more complicated nowadays, but similar pattern. So, and actually, I think we can learn some from those days. Learn some. The way they concluded what they have to do with the punishment of Cain can be a big story, can be a good lesson for our today's society. Maybe we have to rethink about our justice system and how we look at crimes and how we look at human beings. Maybe by going back and knowing the stories of our ancestors, maybe we can learn a little bit from them. Thank you.